And we're live. Welcome, welcome. Hello, ladies, and happy International Women's Day. I mean, like, you're the superstar that gets to be here today on International Women's Day. I absolutely love it. So as you're coming on, let us know you're here. Let us know give some waves and some shout outs to my beautiful friend Alyssa here. And we're going to get her, I'm going to introduce you, but I just want some ladies to come on. So as you're coming on, if you'll see in the top of the link there, StreamYard, just click that link and it allows us to see who's coming in your name. Otherwise, all we see is Facebook users because of the platform that we're using. So I don't know who to say hi to. I can just see some people saying hi. So just click that link above and it'll let us know that it's you. So I want to welcome on. If this is your first time here, let us know. We've got a lot of new members coming in. And we definitely want to say hi to you. But this is Monday Mom's Mindset. And I have the most beautiful mom and like brand new mom, like pretty new mom. This is my friend, Miss Alyssa Favreau. I hope I said that right. Yeah, good. Is that French? Or
it is French, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm so excited to have you here. And you are actually, I feel like because I'm such good friends with your mom. So for those of you who don't know, her mom is Miss Denny Robinson. And so they have they do business together, but I actually met Alyssa at an event through Denny and we connected there. And gosh, that was at the A&MP, how many years ago? 3 years? 4? 3?
Yeah, I was going to say 3 years. Yeah.
3 years ago, because you had just gotten going, you just got started. And so we made that connection there. And so now you're here. Now you've, since it's like you're married, you have a brand new baby, and you're doing business and absolutely crushing it. So I wanted you ladies to come on and hear her story. Fabulous story. She was just named, I mean, how recently were you just named one of the youngest up and coming rising stars in network marketing?
Yeah, last year, yeah.
Last year. Wow, congratulations. That's a big kudo.
Yeah, thank you.
So anyway, well, welcome. So how are you today?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me on here, Taylor. It is just incredible, the community that you've been able to create here. And it's just such a privilege to be a part of it. So thank you.
Well, thank you for taking out time away from business and being a young mom. So Thomas, he's how old now? He's
just about 10 months. He's going to be 10 months like this week. I can't believe it. It really does fly by. Yeah.
I know everybody says that, but until you live it and you're like, and you're probably at that stage, you know, I think always the first year, it's like every month that they change, this is my favorite age. No, this is I remember that so vividly because they change so much in that first year. And wait till he starts talking, then your life and walking. Like, is he walking yet?
Not quite walking. He's like grabbing one hand and walking, but he hasn't quite gotten and he'll balance for a little bit, but he's close. So it's fun to watch. It's just like you said, every month it's just a new baby. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then wait till he starts talking, his personality starts coming out. But when they start walking, man, you better buckle in, man. Your life is never going to be the same.
I know.
Well, so I want to know about your story. Let's talk about this because, most people may know you as a rising star networker, but let's talk about you as growing up and how you got to this place that you are now.
Sure. Yeah. So I was really fortunate growing up with two parents who were very successful entrepreneurs. My father has owned a successful accounting firm for many years, and my mom has been in network marketing for the last 25 years. So I had the opportunity of watching traditional business, right? A traditional business entrepreneur versus network marketing. And I saw the amount of dedication that it took. I saw the amount of work and sacrifice that both of them made to make their businesses successful. And so I saw that hard work very early on, and the importance of hard work. But then, it was interesting as I grew up. What I started to see was that my father still had to show up every single day in order to make a paycheck.
Yeah.
He had to, his business was doing so well, so he had to hire more employees, which made him even busier because then he had to manage. There were so many elements as his business got to be more and more successful that actually drew more of his time from our family, and he had to just figure it out and juggle that. And what I saw in comparison was my mother, who she was working hard still, but what she was doing was she started to get paid for the work that she did a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And so
because you have two other siblings, right?
I have three brothers.
Three brothers. Oh, okay, that's right. Okay, so you're the only girl?
I'm the only girl.
Wow. Well, so watching this, watching your family, so you saw your mom, that probably didn't register with you if she's been doing this that long. It probably, growing up, that probably didn't connect any dots with you until later on in life.
Yeah.
But tell me about the time, because your mom shared this little bit of story, and we're certainly going to hear this from her perspective, but from your perspective, let's talk about whenever you were growing up and what you went through. I think this is really key to your story overall.
Yeah. So when I was 12 years old, I was diagnosed with cancer, with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so I went through chemotherapy treatment. I lost all my hair, and it was just a circumstance that you just always see. It's just an outside thing, right? It never happens to you personally. And that was, it's something that I never wish upon anyone else, for sure, because what a scary time in life at such a young age. But at the same time, I think that it really just changed the trajectory of my life, the way that I view life. It was at that pivotal moment, I think, when you're 12 years old, it's middle school, girls are starting to get a little bit catty, and all of these changes are happening. And I was withdrawn really from that entire environment. And then by the time I got put back in, my life perspective was just completely changed, right? Because I wasn't around all of my friends in middle school. I was around the kids at the hospital who were in for treatment, and, kids who were 5 and 6 and 10 years old who might not have ever known a life outside of being sick like that.
Wow.
I saw kids pass away because of their illnesses. And so it just really changed the way that I saw life in general and the way that I wanted to approach life.
I would think that would be a huge, because I think at that age, you're so young and you think you are invincible. Right.
Yeah.
I think when, you're in that time frame, mortality or, dealing with that, it doesn't register with, I think it registers with children that age.
Yeah.
So I think that really, it probably, you grew up very quickly, having to watch and be faced with all the things, plus how you felt in general, going through chemo and then watching your family, because and I'm not going to take away from your mom's story, because I know, she's going to come in here and share her story too. But from a mom's perspective, to watch your child go through that. And so how did that feel as a child? Because 12, I'm still going to call you a child.
Oh, for sure.
To watch your parents watch you. Talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, that was probably the hardest thing really was watching them and their reaction, and my brothers as well, and watching the people who were outside of me. It wasn't just about me, it was all of these people in my world that were having an experience as a result of what I was experiencing, right? So I saw, the sacrifices that my parents made at that time, and being there in the hospital, I mean, the amount of hours that, they spent with me there and for different different exams and waiting on doctors and everything. Just I can't imagine, from especially now, having a child now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's added even a new dimension for me. Is I can't imagine what that must have been like for them, but I distinctly remember, really just trying to, even though I was in a lot of pain, it was also like they were experiencing pain as well, because there was nothing that they could do, right? So
Yeah. No, your mom and we had that conversation. Like I see you getting the emotion,
yeah,
the emotion of that
yeah.
feeling, that had to have brought on some pressure
Hmm.
on you as well.
Yeah.
Do you know the pressure? Okay, I've got to get well because
Yeah.
everybody's depending on me to get well, so I can fix that for them. Did you feel
Yeah.
that? Did you feel that kind of thing?
Yeah, and as someone who didn't necessarily love to, I liked to be the center of attention for sure. I was pretty outgoing as a young child and everything, but to have that kind of pressure and spotlight on you, definitely added, not the kind of spotlight that you want on yourself. And so it took a long time, I think, for me to really process just all of the emotion and all of the circumstances that we as a family went through. But what's so crazy though, Taylor, is I think I have an amazing relationship with every single one of my family members, like with my dad, with my mom, with every single one of my brothers. And I think it was us going through that experience together that really bonded us. And so, I think sometimes we look at difficult circumstances as just something you want to avoid, but it's those going through those challenges with people that you love,
Yeah.
that really it brings you closer. So and I really attribute that experience to the relationship that I have with every one of my family members.
That is true gratitude, because looking
Mhm.
at the silver lining and,
Yeah.
I guess, what the enemy meant for good or for
Mhm.
bad, God can make good,
Yeah.
finding the silver lining and finding the gratitude in the challenge.
Yeah.
So now your mom was doing network marketing at the time, right?
Yeah, she was. She was in a different company than we're both in right now, but she was doing network marketing, and of course that kind of took a back burner during the time that I was going through treatment. And my dad, took a lot of time off of work as well. So yeah.
So when you got your bill of health, I mean, like,
Mhm.
so we went through this process. So then what? Take us through
Yeah.
what happened next.
Sure. So, you are in remission for 5 years after you've gone through treatment, and so I wasn't cured of my condition for until I was almost 18, and so there's a lot of years of just trying to make sure that I maximize. I remember I was pretty conscious of my health from a very young age. Then after that, and I've always had a pretty strong passion for maxing my body's ability to heal and achieve optimal health, because I just had an experience at a very young age where I didn't have it, and so yeah.
So I think it's like, again, the mentality or that invincibility
Mhm.
that young people go through at that age. They don't equate the things they put in their body
Yeah.
as how it relates to their health. There's no necessity for it, right? So
Right.
now you've had this whole life experience. So now you're super cautious.
Hmm.
Your mindset, the education process that you've had to physically walk through. You know, I mean, I can see how that can change everything.
Yeah.
Even whenever you go out with your friends, whenever they're going out to eat hamburgers and junk food or whatever, you're. So did it ever make you feel different, or did you go through a process where you felt kind of like the oddball a lot?
Mhm. Yeah, if I can be totally honest, I actually felt Since that time, most of my friends have all been a lot older. So just because I just felt like I didn't resonate with a lot of girls that were my same age. So even from high school on through college, I mean, I've always had friends who are, 10, 15, even 20 years older. One of my best friends is actually 30 years older than I am. So I think that it just changed my perspective in a very drastic way. And so I always felt a little bit like just different, right? And just had a different perspective on life, not necessarily that it's good or bad. It was just different, right?
Yeah.
And so I just had a strong resonance with people who were a little bit older and had experienced more life, because I had a lot of life that I experienced in a short amount of time when I was really young. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So you talked about college. So you get to college. So you're going through college. So at this
yeah.
time, so what is your goals? I mean, what are you wanting to do? Because obviously now we have not now the pressure of that, but now,
Mhm.
I mean, I can relate to this having 3 daughters, like the pressure of being an entrepreneur. Like,
Mhm.
do I go to college? Do I get a traditional job?
Yeah.
Tell me about
Sure.
that experience, because that's a lot of pressure in and of itself.
Right. So, I did not even think about network marketing. I did not even think about accounting. Because you really want to pave your own way. You want to do something that's on your own. And, at that age, you don't have enough experience, I think, of what else is available. Right. So I had to go explore what else was available.
Mhm.
So I went to college and I got a bachelor's degree in business, and I got a job in corporate marketing. I thought that that's what I wanted to do, and so I got a job right out of college, and I was planning on just climbing the corporate ladder because that was something that wasn't displayed to me. So I had to explore it,
Yeah.
and so I did that, and it was interesting. What I admire the most really about both of my parents was that they just honored my journey, whatever it was that led me there. I talk now to a lot of people who want what my mom and I have, which is so awesome to be able to work with my mom in network marketing. And I know there's a lot of moms who would love their daughters to work with them in network. Yeah, exactly. Right. So, and it is so much fun. But what I love about my mom is that she, the entire time, just said, this is here for you if you ever want to do it. But your journey is yours. And so it was just this open door where it was just, this is available if you want it, but there was never any pressure. There was never any kind of trying to convince me to do anything. And so I really think that it was purely living by example, that really drew me in over time. And like I said, I had to take my own journey, and you don't know how long that journey it takes, right? And everybody's journey is unique. And so I did corporate marketing, and but then I got really into personal development. I became just this, like, the personal development junkie. Any book that I could pick up, I just wanted it because there was
Oh,
something that was missing.
did you get that from your mom or your dad, or do you just think it was being in an environment of entrepreneurs? I mean, where did you get that passion or that?
It was mostly, I actually think that it was just a culmination of life experiences, right? Because it was the experience of going through cancer. And then I always had that really deep desire to maximize my own joy and happiness in life,
Yeah.
and my own ability to make an impact in other people's life, because there's a reason I'm still here, right?
Yeah.
That crosses your mind after you go
Yes.
through an experience like that,
Yeah.
where it's like, that could have turned out in a very different way, but there's a reason I'm still here. And so then all of a sudden that started kind of boiling up in me. I just thought, well, what is it? And so then I started reading a lot of books that just were, and I was like, I need to make myself a better person so that I can figure out what it is that I need to do to serve other people better, right?
Well,
And so then I started, I was I had a couple of mentors as well. So I was living away from parents and family. I was living in Nashville, Tennessee, newly married. And I had a job in corporate marketing. And so I got a couple of mentors, and one of those mentors said, in whatever it is that you pursue, make sure you look at the person whose job you're trying to replace, or the person at the top, right? and make sure that they're living a life that you want to live, because that's
So
in the end what you're trying to.
this is really good right there. You said I mean, that's a lot of gold nuggets in there. Look at the person that you're emulating, and is that the life that you wish to live?
Mhm.
Is that the life you wish to emulate? That certainly brings up a lot of questions and a lot of ways that we should be looking at everything that we're doing. Is this really where I want this to end up?
Exactly.
Where they are and what they do, right?
Exactly. And looking, the people that you accept advice from as well, it goes even to that. The people who you surround yourself with and you receive advice from, are they living a life that you want to live? You've just got to look at every category of your life, like you said, and just make sure that the people who you're accepting advice from, the people who you're trying to emulate, are they living a life that you want to live? And so what I saw was my boss, who was exhausted, working 60 to 80 hours a week. Yeah, she was making a lot of money. Yes, she was a successful businesswoman, but she had a terrible marriage because she was gone so much. She didn't have any kids because she chose a career over having children. And nothing wrong with that, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Wow.
I wanted a successful marriage. I wanted to have a family because even at that young age when I had cancer, they weren't sure if I was going to be able to have children. But it was something that I wanted. And so I just took a step back and I thought, what do I need to change in my life now so that 5 years, 10 years from now, I can be living the kind of life that I want to live.
Right.
And that ended up pointing back to my mom, which takes a huge dose of humble pie to take, because you want to pave your own path. You want to do your own thing. But at the end of the day, I turned to my mom and I said, do you think that I could do what you've been able to do? Do you think that I would be good at this? Because what I thought was that I had to be an incredible salesperson, right? Because my mom is amazing at talking to people. And yes, I'm friendly, but I never considered myself a salesperson, right?
Right.
But what I am is someone who is passionate about helping other people, someone who loves the stories of other people, someone who sees potential in other people, right? And so, yeah.
Well, and to me, that's the juice, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the juice, because to me, that's the magic in business, is always being able to see something in someone that they are not able to see in themselves yet, right?
Yeah.
And hence the stories, like we're having this interview here, why this community, this tribe of women, finding yourself in someone else's story that you can be inspired by, that like, oh my gosh, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And so I love that. I love the fact that you did not allow your pride to hinder you from, raising your hand and reaching out to your mom.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so many people probably could prevent them from doing so. I love the fact that you didn't. And I think it was probably, it had to have something to do with what you said earlier, was the fact that they gave you the freedom to figure it out for yourself. And the door was always open. And get you and that you wanted to do it, that they didn't get you to do it, that you wanted to do it on your own, and you came to that own decision, that natural logical conclusion for you and your family. I love that. I love that. So what happened? So how did that look? What was your next steps, and how did she respond? She had to have been like giddy. Oh my God.
Excited for sure. But what was again so crazy is that she was like, okay, well, if you want to do this, right? So she played it so cool. Now I know, we both love it. We both wake up every day. We're like, is this really what we gonna do? But she played it so cool. She was just like, okay, well, here's the steps that you need to take, right? And then here's a position, right? Not necessarily a position that was phenomenal in the company. She was like, here, you can enroll, right? At the bottom of our structure, and we're going to build it from the ground up, just because she wanted me to see to see if I could really do it for myself. And I think that I really do appreciate that now too, because I think that sometimes when you're just given too much, you just don't have the gratitude for it and the appreciation for how hard it is, and that ability to relate to other people when
Well,
they're building.
and I can say, I mean, there's two sides to this. So
Yeah.
from your side and her side, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, as a mom, being in that, because where she is and, being the number one earner in your company,
Yeah.
having that kind of power, it probably, I mean, as mom, it's like, it would have been easy to give you,
Yeah.
right? To really, really help you.
Yeah.
As mom.
Okay.
But as business owner, knowing that it's better for you in the long run
Yeah.
to start you just like everybody else, just like anybody else, was very wise on her part. And I'm sure, I mean, there's probably a lot of challenges that you ladies have faced, even as a result of that. Because I think everybody assumes that because you've ranked, because of how you've grown, you rode on her coattails.
Right.
Right? I'm sure you probably get that.
Yeah. Oh, all the time. And in the beginning, that was difficult, right? Because I know, and I, of course, then want to reach out to everyone and say no. But then at the end of the day, what is so empowering is when you get to a place where you know what you've done to get there, and when you have the ability to not necessarily give other people your power, right?
Yeah.
Don't give other people your power, because if you know what you've done and you know what you've accomplished, it doesn't matter what everybody else says. It actually, that reminds me of the Teddy Roosevelt quote, "The Man in the Arena." I'm not sure if you read it. It's one of my favorite books by Brene Brown. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. Yeah. So, but it's basically the man in the arena, right? And I can't quote it directly, but basically it doesn't matter, whoever is throwing stones at you, right? Are they the people who are in the arena working and striving, or are they the people who are watching from the sidelines, right? Are they the people who are throwing terrible words at you and saying, oh, well, it's because her mom is Denny Robinson. And yes, my mom is amazing, and I have so much gratitude for what I have been given, the kind of examples that I have, the kind of assistance that I have. Absolutely. But you know what? At the end of the day, our job is to take whatever is in front of us and do the best that we can with it, right? And so whatever circumstances that you have in life, that's what you have to work with. And so all you can do is go to work, right? And just create from there.
Well, and to your point, I think sometimes we get distracted by what we think other people think.
Exactly.
And to your point, it doesn't matter, because the reality is that no matter what you do or how you try to, make any of those things, people think about you what they think about you, and you really can't change that. But you know the truth, and your truth is good enough.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to bring that up because I know that has to be that's a very hard thing, especially whenever you have been in the trenches and you have been digging it out of the dirt and you have been putting the sweat equity into your business, and for somebody to come along and try to negate that or take away from that, that's got to be a hard thing not to get distracted with and want to defend.
Right.
And I think even as a mom, like if I was in your mom's, like I would be like Mama Bear wanting to cut me off. Like, don't mess with my baby.
And she does sometimes. Mama Bear definitely comes out, but I'm like, Mom, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I mean, people are going to say what people are going to say, but knowing what your truth is the most important thing, and knowing You know, at the end of the day, am I a better person than I was yesterday? At the end of the day, am I helping people improve their lives? At the end of the day, am I accomplishing my overall mission in life, which
Yeah.
is to ignite possibility and purpose in other people as well? Well, great. Okay. Well, then we don't need to pay attention to those comments, right? So,
Very well. I mean, I look at your journey and I think like so powerful that you had a mentor, you know,
mhm.
and even rolling back there, you had a mentor, somebody that, you know, directing you and telling you those things before you even started this journey.
Yeah.
And then through this process that has allowed you to be strong and stand on your own. Um, so now that so you've been doing the business, and so then
Mhm.
you've had some success now as a new mom. Let's talk about how business is different and how mompreneur is like having a little.
So different. So different. Yeah.
Let's speak to that because we're talking about Monday Mom's mindset. Let's talk
Yes.
about that.
You know, I feel very fortunate to be able to have learned what I did before I had children. So, you know, everyone's journey is unique and is different. And I know there's a lot of moms who decide to start their own business after they've had kids, which is incredible, right? I was fortunate. I started the business with the intent of having children. And so, what I had the privilege of experiencing was I had been working really hard up until the time that I had my son. And so, for the first time, I saw the result of residual income. So I was able to really just take off through about 3 months, 2.5 months, to just figure out how to be a mom.
Wow.
But then I was able to take advantage of, I got a paycheck every single week. And, you know, it kind of ignited this new possibility in me and this new, really just feeling empowered to help other moms because we there's going to be times when you can't work every single day and you can't show up at the same exact time. You can't guarantee that xyz is always going to get done every single day. So be able to take advantage of that residual income aspect was just incredible. And being a new mom is just it's a journey. I mean, I love that boy more than anything, which is you never knew you could love someone so much.
I know.
And so just navigating that journey of, okay, well, how do I still build what I want to build and contribute the way that I want to contribute to other people while still being the kind of mom that I want to be, right? And so what I found for me was that and I think it's important for women, we think that we can do everything.
Yes.
And we have that belief that we should be able to do everything, right?
Yeah.
And so it was me coming to this realization of, if I'm going to be everything that I want to be, I need help.
Wow.
And I need it. I need it in a big way, right? So that meant enlisting my husband, and my husband doesn't build a business with me, but he is my number one supporter. And so he, every single Saturday and Sunday, will take our son for a couple of hours so that I can work, and really enlisting help and paying for help. I think that we also, as I don't know what it is, but I didn't want to pay for someone to help me either, right? Because I can do it all. But it was, again, realizing that what is it that's going to make me most fulfilled? Is it going to be doing my laundry every single day? Do I feel, no. Can I make the sacrifice of paying someone to come do my laundry? Yes. And I think that, my mom even put it pretty well in the beginning. She said, Alyssa, you're paying money for someone to help you with these things, but what you don't realize is how much more you're going to be able to make because you're not doing those things that don't make you fulfilled. And so really being able to be willing to have other people help and to ask for help.
That's such great advice for any new mom or any older mom. It doesn't matter. I mean, for any moms in general, because you're right. I mean, I think we think we can do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And to have somebody to bring in to help you to where you can, whenever you're not working, like you can focus just on Thomas and be
Yeah.
mom, right?
Yeah.
And do the things that have to be done where, I know it's been a while ago since mine were little, but the same mindset that where do I balance this out? Because what was happening is then whenever I was building my business, I was feeling guilty because I wasn't with them.
Yeah.
And then whenever I was with them, then I was guilty because I wasn't doing it. So I think it's a natural thing for moms to have. It's that I call it the pleasure pain principle. Where it's constant pleasure pain, no matter which side of the fence you're on.
Yeah.
But to have that little, just taking any little bit out of the budget and being able to do just a little bit of things that allows you that time. So whenever you have that time, that you're focused on either doing the business and or being with the baby or the child, right? That makes huge difference in mindset and letting things go.
Yeah. Exactly. And just recognizing, it even came down to me making a list of everything that I feel like I need to do every single day, and then being able to rank them, right? As far as level of importance in building my business, and level of importance in me feeling fulfilled as a mom. And then the things that were at the bottom that don't make any kind of difference. Well, how can I outsource that, right? How can I get help is somehow, right? And we're so hesitant to allow other people to help us that we just feel like we have to do it all. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out what it is that you really want to achieve, because you can have it all, but you can't have it all at once. And as a mom and a business, there's a reason why there are stay-at-home moms. It is a full-time job. And yes, you can do this business in the pockets of your day. But I think that women also think that they, should only be able to do it in the pockets. Why not outsource some of those things that are like the least important to you?
And so many times, I've heard women say, okay, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's like you can't afford not to.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if it's then you've got to figure out, okay, how can I leverage more to be able to make enough to be able to outsource that?
Well, and what I think is also really crazy and is very important is how much more productive you are when you are willing to pay someone money, right?
Yeah.
Where what I'm able to accomplish in 3 to 4 hours now, what used to take me, I would do in 8 or 9 hours in the day, 10 hours, just because I had the time, right? But when you get really serious about what you're trying to do and accomplish, you've got to be able to figure out and prioritize those things. And you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish when you're willing to pay someone to do something for you. So
it's true. And I think it's such great advice. And, the thing that you said that I really want to acknowledge is, husbands and having that spouse and being able to communicate with them and giving them a vision. Even though if you're not working together, it still takes both of you to have this kind of a successful home business and still keep the family priority and keep everything intact. Whenever you include them in your vision, you include them in the process, and bring deals. Bring deals with them. In other words, like what you just said, like, hey, I really need some help. If you could do this and spend, so now he's got quality time with Thomas, right? Dad son time, but then allowing you the freedom to be able to focus and be able to, but that wouldn't have happened without communication and him buying into your vision and being willing to support you, even though he's not doing the business with you. That kind of support is priceless, but you've got to be able to have those kind of conversations.
Well, and something that I think is very powerful that my husband and I do is we do every year, we make our what our vision is for the year, right? And what do we want to be able to accomplish this year? And then every once a month, we'll sit down and we'll say, how are we doing to progress towards what it is that we want? What is it that we need to implement or change in order to accomplish what we want, right? And so before Thomas was even born, one of my biggest concerns and one of my biggest worries was that my business was just going to take the back burner and that I was just going to have to be a mom, right? And that I wasn't going to continue to be able to achieve what I wanted to achieve. And so us sitting down before he was really even born and saying, what is it that we are wanting to accomplish together, right? How do we accomplish this together? What is it that you need to do in order to, and then how are we going to make all of it work, right? How do we make our relationship feel fulfilled while also building the kind of community and the kind of environment that we want to? How are we going to be that as parents, and breaking it down into categories and making clear, definite goals of what it is we want to accomplish, and then breaking it down into, well, how much time is that going to take, right? Do we have that kind of time? How do we make more time so that we can accomplish that goal that we have together?
That's such great advice there, being able to, because sometimes I think people make goals, but then they don't self-reflect, they don't assess, what's happening, or, how did I do? I mean, I always ask myself, hey, would I hire myself or would I fire myself today?
Yeah.
And really take a look in the mirror, and the fact that you both can do it together.
Yeah.
Evaluate, even though you're not he has his own job, you have, but you're planning your vision where it's succinct and it works together with your family. I think that's such brilliant advice. I mean, Alyssa, you're so wise beyond your years. You're you're such an old soul, I can feel, I'm sure it has everything to do with, it's just part of the path and the journey that you've walked and experienced.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a beautiful thing. It's such great advice. And, I know that, I love what you said, that you're here for a purpose, and you have a bigger purpose. And with what you've just said, the impact that just by the ladies listening and the moms that have heard you today, you talk about some ripple impact, So let's talk about, because we were talking about sharing her excellence, and you give me so many nuggets. Because we're, in this community, what is it? What would be the thing that you're going to give to this tribe of women that you are so passionate about, that would be your gift to this community? Like, you feel like every woman should know. I don't know the answer to this yet. Typically I do, but you're going to surprise me. So I'm excited.
I think what is unique about me is the energy that I'm able to bring to people when I do talk to them. I think that my excitement, the level of excitement that I have about every single day, is what I've been told is unique about me, right? That I have the ability to really just be excited about life. And so, but I am so intentional about that. And so, so what I would love to really share with these women is how to structure your day to bring about the best version of you into every category of your day. How do you set up your morning? How do you set up your day so that you feel like you're able to show up as the best version of you into every single part of your day? I think that's the most powerful thing that we can do with whatever it is that you do, right? It's in being a mom, it's in being a businesswoman. How do you elevate your own energy so that you have something to give to other people? Because so often we try to pour from an empty cup. And if there's nothing in that cup to give, then nothing's going to come out, and you have nothing to give other people. And so I make it such a priority to have a list of things that I do every single day so that I know that I'm showing up as the best version of myself.
Love that. Oh my gosh, ladies, are you excited? This is going to be so fun and so cool. You're a plethora of wisdom. I love it. No wonder you're having such major success and showing up so big. I know that your mom and your dad especially a mom for sure, is so incredibly proud of you, and I can certainly see why. So but I mean, people may look at you and they see like, okay, from outside, everything looks picture perfect, I mean, like, as it always does, as it always shows up. So how do you deal with days that maybe aren't so perfect? Maybe like, do you have like a favorite quote, or what do you do? Tell us about that, like a favorite quote.
Yeah. So
what do you do?
One of my favorite quotes is by Eleanor Roosevelt. Do one thing every day that scares you, which is something that is simple, right? But especially on those days when I don't necessarily, maybe I don't feel my best. Maybe something has happened. Maybe Thomas didn't sleep at all the night before, right? I always try to implement something that might scare me that day, because the thing about what I love about that quote is it alters the way I think. It alters it's a shift, right? And what I've learned as well is that fear and excitement ignite the same chemical reaction in your brain, but it's your ability and what we do in our mind that gives it a definition. So we feel that whatever the energy is, that fear and excitement have the same chemical reaction, and then we label it as fear or we label it as excitement, right? And so what is it that I can do today to get myself more excited, right? What is something that I have a little bit of butterflies about it, and it could be with my business, but it could just be something out of the ordinary, right?
Okay.
Something that I do to mix up my day.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot here. So, Okay, so give us an example of one of the last things that you did.
So what I did, so this was actually like last week.
So one of those days, even last week. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, bad days.
And I think that what's important is there are always circumstances that can alter your state of mind, your energy, and especially as moms, there are so many unknown things that you cannot control, right? And so something that I did last week, no, it wasn't last week. It was the week before. Sorry, because I had family in town last week. So it was the week before. Thomas didn't really sleep, so I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. I sit down on my computer. I'm trying to get a little bit of work done, but I'm just not feeling anything, right? So I take Thomas and we go to the local grocery store, and I do some prospecting just at the grocery store with my baby.
I love you. That's my.
And it was like, it was so, I was like, oh, this is it, but it was just getting myself into a different state, right? Because for sure. Like, was that like fear or excitement? I mean, we were on the edge. So doing something that was out of the ordinary for me, and you could just think of anything, right? I mean, what is it that I could do today that might be a little bit fearful, but how can I turn it into excitement, right? So
love that. What a great advice. Like, and it's changing the physiology. It's changing.
Exactly.
It changes everything because you start thinking about things differently.
Yeah.
So that's such great advice. I love that. And I remember that was exactly where I found all my prospects, was in the grocery store. Like,
well, that was what my mom said that too. Yeah. But it's just we don't connect like that as much anymore, right? And so it was fun for me to just say, well, how can I change things up? And so it was fun to be able to do that.
Right, that's awesome. So so that's great. That's a great tip. So do you have like you're talking about personal development. Do you have like a favorite book, like a go-to, something you're reading now, something that you could share with the ladies here?
Yeah. So there's a book by Brene Brown. What is it? It's not her Rising Strong book, but it's Dare to Lead is the name of her newest book.
Okay.
So she has a couple of books, and what I love about this book, Dare to Lead, is basically taking a lot of the tools that she's written in some of her other books, and implementing, giving you tasks of what you can do in order to become a better leader, right? So a lot of self-reflection, a lot of things that you can implement yourself into your team as well. If you've got a team, really a great book. Love that one. I've also always loved John Maxwell's the 21 Irrefutable Laws. Yeah, of leadership.
Yeah, John Maxwell. He's amazing.
Love him.
Well, so any last words of wisdom you'd like to share with the ladies today before we hop off?
It is just such a privilege to be united with other women, especially in this She network and what you're creating here, Taylor. I hope that what we do is we empower each other to become the best version of ourselves. And we give each other permission, really, to just be who it is that you are sent here to be who it is who you feel in your heart that you need to be. And we may not know the entire story or how it looks, but show up today as if you were that best version of yourself. And I think we can always surprise ourselves in what we can accomplish if we just try to be the best version of ourselves today.
So powerful. Wow, so powerful. And thank you so much. And thank you so much because, it's women like you that, have hearts for women and have hearts for people that I think are that I built this community. I want to be involved. And so I thank you so much for taking out your time away from business and away from Thomas to share with the ladies here. Such great value. And so ladies, if you are coming in and you've seen this interview here, tag somebody, tag some new moms, such great words of wisdom. Without question, Alyssa, and congratulations to you and your success. Certainly such an honor. And definitely, as they say, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree without question. So it's a pleasure to know you and your mom. And so thank you again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Bye for now.